And thanks for being with us here on Morning Live. SABC News will bring you wall-to-wall coverage on the trial in the Free State, where the former Premier of that province and now Secretary-General of the ANC will be appearing alongside his co-accused in the High Court sitting in Bloemfontein. Now, we cross to our reporter, Aphumelele Mdlalane, who is with the NPA spokesperson, Sipho Ngwema. Aphumelele, over to you.
Yes, Sakina, we're still here at Magistrate Court waiting, of course, for the appearance of Secretary-General Ace Magashule, along with others with the 255 million rand corruption and fraud case that will take place here. But I just wanted to bring along the NPA national spokesperson, Sipho Ngwema. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. We know that there were 3 more arrests yesterday. Just take us through that. We know it's senior officials. Just take us through that.
Yes, indeed. Remember when we left in November, we said we wanted to amend the charge sheet, but also we wanted to bring 3 more accused into the dock. Those accused were arrested yesterday, 2 of them from Human Settlement, 1 of them from the Premier's office, and they will be added to here. And as we said last time, we are ready. The investigation is done. We are ready to go to trial, but of course, we understand that they will have to study the charges against them and prepare. But we are hoping that today we are going to get dates that all of us are going to mutually agree on, so that we can go to the High Court and start with the trial as soon as possible.
We also know that last time in November when the case was here, we know that a former PA of Ace Magashule confirmed to be a state witness, of course. Is it still the case, and how many more witnesses do we have?
Undoubtedly, she's part of the more than 40 witnesses that we are going to bring to court. And of course, they will have to testify if it's necessary in terms of the accusations or allegations that we are labeling against the accused to support our case. We have those witnesses, we have the evidence. And as I said, we are ready to go on trial and dispense of this matter as soon as possible.
One would say, of course, when we're talking about more than 40 witnesses, this is quite a big case and has been involving a lot of people. We know that they just state witnesses, but that would mean that many people did know of what was happening.
There's no doubt that the people that we are going to bring are going to support our contention that the accused are guilty of the more than 70 counts that we have charged them with in terms of theft, corruption, money laundering, attempted theft, and all those charges against in terms of the contravention of the Asbestos Act. So there's no doubt in our minds that yes, our case is ready, yes, our witnesses are ready, including the witness that is based in the United States is on that list, and she will testify in support of the accusations that we are making.
I just want to confirm this. So simply means there will be more charges added, or what's going on?
What has happened is that we have expanded more on the charges, particularly on accused number 13. And accused number 13 is the former Premier of the Free State. So we have expanded. We will then finish today with that amended charge sheet indictment, because we are going to the High Court. And they should be able to prepare themselves adequately when we meet at the High Court and when we start the trial.
And now that would mean that the NPA is confident that it has a watertight case.
We are confident that we have a strong case. We wouldn't be here if we didn't think that the allegations that we are making are substantiated. We think that our evidence is sufficient for us to proceed, and we think that there are reasonable prospects of success in terms of the accused, the 16 accused that are before court, and we are moving on. We are ready, as I said, to start with the trial, and the accused to defend themselves and come with their version.
Sipho Ngwema, the national NPA spokesperson, of course, bringing us to speed to the recent arrests. That simply means that we have now 16 accused. We're talking about 11 accused as well as 5 companies, and it totals to 16. They believe that they have a watertight case, and saying that their investigation, of course, it's okay for them to proceed for trial in the High Court. And we understand also that this case is gonna be a very brief case because everything is up to speed, and we will also be expecting that now we'll see other cases being entertained as soon as this one it's done. Handing over to my colleague now, Samkelo Maseke, over to you.
Well, Apumelele, indeed, the political temperature in the Free State, just like the scorching heat that we are currently under in the city of Roses. Roses are not smelling beautifully today as the political temperature is hot, and there are more charges expected to be added to accused number 13, the Secretary-General of the African National Congress, the former Premier of the Free State province. I'm going to bring in Carl Niehaus, the spokesperson of MKMVA, to speak about their solidarity and support for the Secretary-General of the ANC. Mr. Niehaus, seems as if your man is going to be facing more charges today here at the High Court. What's your response as MKMVA?
Let's wait and see what happens here at the High Court. But if there are more charges, it will just confirm to us that there's an increasing process of political targeting, using the judiciary, using the legal system, against people like Comrade Ace Magashule, also the President Jacob Zuma, and other members of the African National Congress, and amongst the leadership of the African National Congress, who support the formal ANC economic policy program of radical economic transformation. We are very concerned what we are increasingly beginning to see, an undermining of the democratic processes also within our party, the African National Congress. Remember, Comrade Ace Magashule was elected democratically as the Secretary-General of the ANC, and yet we have now a legal system that is trying to remove him. And that process indicates to us that there's increasingly a dictatorship of the legal system, of the judiciary, against the democratic processes in our country. That is something we most definitely will oppose and cannot allow.
Mr. Niehaus, you are making outstanding allegations here of a dictatorship of the judiciary. Where is this dictatorship stemming from? Because essentially it's your people who are in charge of the administration in the country. It's your president who's in charge, president of the African National Congress. Who is this dictatorship stemming from?
We are very concerned about the manner in which the judiciary has carried out their duties, not only with regards to these charges, but also with regards to the manner in which President Jacob Zuma has been treated. You saw what happened with regards to the Commission of Inquiry into State Capture, the appeal that President Zuma took to the High Court about the refusal of Mr. Justice Zondo to recuse himself from the chairpersonship, and yet, while that appeal was going on, Mr. Justice Zondo and that commission rushed to the Constitutional Court. The Constitutional Court made an extraordinary ruling which forced him, although that appeal was still pending, who forced him that he must go to the commission, and also took away his right to remain silent and not to incriminate himself. There are serious questions about whether some of the judiciary have not been paid. We don't know, because at this stage we don't know what happened with all those bank accounts that had been sealed. You referred to the President of the African National Congress, Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa. We want to see the cloud of suspicion that is currently hanging over the head of Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa to be removed, because we want him to be an effective president. We want the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress to be effective rather than this organization that is currently divided, factional, and in a quagmire. The critical thing that needs to happen is that those bank accounts that have been sealed should be opened so that the sunshine, as we see it here today in Bloemfontein, can shine on it so that we can have clarity and that those suspicions can either be confirmed or removed. That is the way President Ramaphosa will be able to be an effective president, and we can start the process of getting the national executive of the ANC again to have full legitimacy.
Mr. Niehaus, there are disaster management regulations in place. Last time the SG appeared here in court, there was a political gathering outside of court. Political gatherings are prohibited in this country. Gatherings of more than 250 people or 50 people in a hall are prohibited. But there seems to be political gatherings in support for Ace Magashule. Are you not undermining the law? And there is one planned again today.
We are absolutely not intending to undermine the law. People come here as individual members of the ANC. I'm here as an individual member of the ANC. I will abide by the COVID-19 regulations. We will do everything within our means as individual members of the African National Congress to abide by those regulations. We have got no intention to be cavalier about COVID-19. We take it very seriously. I personally had been very ill with COVID-19. I cannot say that it is not a serious matter. So we will address that issue as responsibly as we possibly can, while at the same time as individual members of the African National Congress also expressing our solidarity and support with our Secretary-General.
Mr. Niehaus, there's high levels of brutality in this country, crime. Here we've got a heavy police presence in this court. Are you not depriving South Africans of this much needed service of the police and holding this country at ransom by depriving them of such police service? Look at the police service here. There are no police probably in the townships today. There may be crime happening. Are you not holding this country hostage as the African National Congress?
That's not a question you should ask me. I did not bring the police here. The individual members of the African National Congress have got no intention, I believe, to act criminally. Ask that question of the Minister of Police, Mr. Bekele, why it is necessary to bring all the barbed wire, the police, all these armored vehicles for peaceful people who simply want to give their support to their Secretary-General.
Thank you very much, Mr. Niehaus. That was Carl Niehaus, the spokesperson of MKMVA. Indeed, Palisa, there is heavy police presence here. And Carl Niehaus says that if more charges are added to Ace Magashule, as Sipongwema says, they will be added. It will prove that the judiciary is being used to settle political scores. Over to my colleague, Palisa.
Thomas.
Well, we're coming to you from President Brown Street, the corner of President Brown Street. We're about 200 meters away from the court building, and we're here with some ANC members from other parts of the country who've come all the way here to come and support the SG, Ace Magashule. Right now we're speaking to Mish Mdalose from the Gauteng region. Mish, just tell us, why are you guys here all the way from Gauteng?
Thanks very much. We're here from all the way from Gauteng, from Greater Ivory Park, to support our Secretary-General, Comrade Ace Magashule. We feel very strong that our judiciary must not become a political football, where certain individuals, when they are failing to win ANC battles in terms of politics, they use judiciary to settle political scores. Why we are saying so? Because when you look, there are many comrades that are premiers and former premiers. For example, where I'm coming from, there were people who died innocent of life is humane, but we don't see people being taken to court for oversight. I don't know how are we approaching this thing, because we feel very strong. Those who seem agree with a certain faction that is leading now, but they are part of the collective of the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress. You see that they are not targeted because they agree with the president. Those who don't agree with the president, they are always taken to court. There are many. We are not saying that they are innocent, but there are many. You speak about Bongo, you speak about Ace Magashule, you speak about the former president, because he get a different view on Kuntu Nazareth that he supported Mamukosazan to be president. But we say that after that, we thought that everything is secret. We must focus of creating job opportunities in our country. Unemployment is at the highest level. People are swimming in the pool of poverty, whereas masses, they are still fighting, but we are being shifted away to focus on negative issues, on the official battles of the ANC, where court they tend to be used, judiciary has been used to fight battles of the ANC.
If you're saying this, then scenes that we saw last time of people burning T-shirts bearing the face of the president, Cyril Ramaphosa, that could happen again today.
No, we have called order on those because earlier on I was with Comrade of Pumalanga here from Hazyview, we're with comrade from Mopane region near Norman Mashaba. Region speaking that comrade must enforce discipline. Because you know when we're coming here, they'll be saying those are the people of the Secretary-General, but you know, we're members of the ANC, others will be deployed to come to turn this particular demonstration in the support of Secretary-General to be seen that we're ill-disciplined, but there are people that are deployed within. So our eyes are alert, we're on the ground to deal with our own intelligence as African National Congress members. We're here going to demonstrate peacefully, we're going to apply to the code and regulation of COVID-19 to make sure that this march is peaceful. We raise issues that our judiciary is used, selective is used to fight for political battles in our movement.
Thank you very much. That's Mish Mdalose. Now we're talking to you, Sir Piet Badman, also from the Gauteng region. What are your expectations today? You've already expressed that you're not happy with the barricades.
Yes. I think firstly, before I get to the barricade issue, I want to appreciate, because we are here in our numbers. There are buses, I think we're about 15 to 20 buses that came from Gauteng to support the SG, and we are proud of all the comrades who came to support him. And we want to say that even on Monday we'll be in KZN supporting our former president. So we want to make it a culture to say all these comrades that are being targeted by certain individuals in the ANC, we will be there to support them. Because we still believe in that principle that says you are innocent until proven guilty by the court of law. Coming to the issue of the barricades, I'm very disappointed that the last time when we were here, when our comrade Ace Magashule applied for bail, all our comrades, they were here in numbers, but we managed to go closer to the court where the proceedings were continuing. But today we can see that we are not welcome in this town, because all the roads are closed and there are barricades, and they don't want us to go closer to the court. And we came here to march peacefully, like my comrade said. So that is very disappointing that we are going to meet this. But we will see when our comrades arrive from the other side. They are going to come here. I think they will be here by 8 o'clock. We will see what is going to happen.
Thank you very much. That is Piet Badman from the Gauteng region. Obviously very disappointed that they are being restricted from, being as close as possible to the court building. We'll be here throughout the day to monitor the proceedings to see what happens. But court is expected to start at 8 o'clock sharp. That is the information that we got yesterday. Right now we'll be going into a commercial break. With that, it's back to you in studio.